Hello everyone. Our today's videos is all about the holistic understanding. So let's start with the introduction part. Professional ethics govern the behavior and the decision making process within the organization, guiding the individual in their interactions with their colleagues, stakeholder, and the broader community. A holistic understanding enhance the or we can say that these ethical framework by a comprehensive perspective and contextual awareness, balancing the conflicting interest, promoting the ethical leadership. Okay, so if you are talking about the comprehensive perspective, it integrates the diverse ethical theories to provide a comprehensive approach to the ethical decision making. This allows professionals to consider various moral principles and their implementations or implications in different contexts, ensuring the well-rounded ethical assessment. Okay, in conceptual awareness, the holistic understanding encourages the professional to consider the broader context in the ethical dilemma arise. Okay, these include understanding the cultural norms, organization policies, legal requirements, and the societal expectations that influence the ethical judgment and the actions. Okay, if you're talking about the balancing conflict interest, then it helps to navigate complex situation where the ethical principle may conflict. Professional equipped with a holistic understanding can weigh the competing value and interest to determine the most ethical course of action that aligns with the organization goal and the societal expectations. And in promoting ethical leadership, leaders who embrace holistic ethics uh, deals with integrity, transparency, accountability in their decision making process. Okay, they foster a culture of trust. The leader foster a culture of trust and respect within their organization, encourage the ethical behavior among the employee and the stakeholder. So uh, next is linking personal value with the organizational values. In that, first one is alignment of values, ethical consistency, mutual reinforcement, resilience in the adversity. When personal value align with the organization value, employees experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment in their work. They are more motivated to uphold ethical standards and contribute positively to the organizational goal. If you are talking about ethical consistency, in that the organization that promote alignment between the personal and the organizational value cultivate a cohesive ethical culture. This consistency enhance the employee engagement, reduce the turnover, and strengthen the corporate reputation. Uh, if you are talking about the mutual reinforcement, personal value influence how individuals interpret and apply organizational value in their daily roles. Employees who share the common value beliefs with their organization are more likely to collaborate effectively, and he are more able to resolve the conflict and make the ethical decisions that benefit both the organization and its stakeholder. Okay, if you are talking about the resilience in adversity, in that during the time, during the crisis, or we can say that during the time of crisis or ethical challenges, a strong alignment between the personal and organizational value provide a moral compass for the employees. It guides them in making the principal decision and upholding the ethical standard even in the challenges circumstances. Okay, so in conclusion, we are saying that fostering a holistic understanding of the professional ethics not only enhance decision making process but also strengthen the organizational culture, employee commitment, and the stakeholder trust. By integrating personal values and the organizational value, companies can cultivate ethical leadership, promote the sustainable practices, and achieve the long-term success with integrity and the accountability. Next is ethical theories and the holistic perspective. In this, first one is deontology. Deontology is the moral rules, duties, and the obligations as the basis for the ethical decision making. It focuses, or we can say that it prioritizes the ethical norms and principles such as honesty, fairness, and respect for the human rights without considering the outcome. Okay, and Immune Khan proposed that action should be guided by a principle that can be universally applied regardless of the consequences. Second one is utilitarianism, in that it evaluates the actions based on their consequences and aim to maximize the overall happiness or the utility. In that, John Stuart Mill argued that action should produce the greatest good for the greatest number. Okay, it involved calculating the potential benefit and the harm of the different action to determine the morally right choice. Okay, if you are talking about the virtue ethics focuses on the characters of the individual and focuses on the moral quality that contribute to the ethical behavior. Okay, it considers how individuals develop various character traits and make different decisions in different kind of situations. Okay, on their moral character rather than the rule or the consequences. Okay, and now how the holistic perspective integrate these theories into comprehensive ethical framework. In that, a holistic perspective combine element of deontology, utilitarianism, and virtue ethics to form a balanced ethical framework that consider both principle and the consequences as well as the characters of the individual and the organization. Okay, and in comprehensive decision making, professionals apply a holistic perspective, assess the ethical dilemma by considering principle. They should analyze the action based on the moral rule and duties and evaluating consequences. Okay, they weight the outcome of different actions to maximize the overall benefit and minimize the harm. In that, fostering the behavior, they cultivate virtues such as integrity, empathy, and fairness to guide the ethical conduct. Okay, holistic ethic recognize the importance of the context, cultural norm, and the individual circumstances in ethical decision making. It encourages the professionals to consider the broader implications of their action or stakeholder, society, and the environment. Okay, if we are talking about the case study in this, this case study is about the Body Shop ethical framework. The Body Shop, a global cosmetic and skincare company, exemplify how a holistic ethical perspective can guide organizational practices and the decision making. Okay, in that, the Body Shop emphasizes sourcing natural integrity or ingredients, ethically promoting fair trade practices, and respecting the indigenous community right. against animal testing. It upholding a strict policy against the animal testing aligned with the ethical principle of the compassion and respect of the animal welfare. Okay, and the body shop community trade programs support the marginalized community by sourcing the ingredients through a fair trade, thereby promoting the economic empowerment and the social justice. Okay, if we are talking about the environmental sustainability, initiative like reducing the carbon footprint and promoting the sustainable packaging contribute to the environmental well-being and the long-term societal benefit. Okay, yes, uh, in that the body shop foster a corporate culture based on the values such as the honesty, transparency, and the environmental stewardship, encouraging the employees to embody the virtue in their role. Okay, leadership. If we are talking about the leadership commitment, leadership at the body shop include its founder Anita Roddick, exemplifying the virtue of the integrity, activism, and the social responsibility guiding by the company ethical practices and the advocacy efforts. Okay, the body shop holistic ethical framework integrate the uh, we are can say that there are deontological principles and utilitarian consideration and virtue ethics, which shows that a comprehensive approach to ethics can drive sustainable business practices and a positive societal impact. So this case study illustrates the practical applications of the ethical theories within the holistic perspective, guiding the organizational decisions that prioritize integrity, social responsibility, and the environmental sustainability. If we are talking about the harmonious work, then harmony in the principal or professional environment, it helps in enhance the communication and the transparency. Okay, open communication encourage the transparent and the frequent communication among team members and between different departments, foster the trust and reduce the misunderstanding and conflict resolution, implementing effective conflict resolution strategies such as meditations, negotiation, promote harmony by addressing issues and in respect and empathy, respectful interactions, cultivating an atmosphere of mutual respect where all the employees feel valued for their contribution, enhance the harmony. Okay, in empathy, encouraging empathy towards the colleagues' perspectives and challenges help build the supportive relationship and promote the collaboration. Okay, in team building and collaboration, team building activities, organizing team building exercise, workshops, and retreat are encourage bonding among the employees and strengthen the interpersonal relationship and promoting collaboration in that facilitating the cross-functional collaboration and the teamwork initiative fosters a sense of unity and the shared purpose among the team member. Okay, and diversity and inclusion, uh, valuing diversity of the background, experience, and the perspective, enrich the workplace dynamic and promote a culture of acceptance and the inclusivity. Okay, implementing inclusive policies and practices to accommodate. So implementing the inclusive policies and practices that accommodate the diverse needs and preferences contribute to the harmonious working environment. Okay, if you are talking about the benefits of that particular environment for productivity and employees well-being, then it helps in enhanced productivity, higher job satisfaction, retention and the talent development, health and the well-being. Okay, reduce conflict and enhance the cooperation, enable the employees to concentrate on their task and goal more effectively, uh, efficient workflow, smooth collaboration and the clear communication streamline the process, leading to increase the efficiency and the productivity. In a higher job satisfaction, it creates the positive atmosphere and lower the stress level. A harmonious workplace cultivate a positive atmosphere where the employees feel motivated and engaged in their work. Okay, if we are talking about the lower stress level, it reduces the interpersonal conflict and supportive relationship contribute to the lower stress level among the employees, enhance the overall the job satisfaction. Okay, retention and talent development, in that employee retention, a positive work environment and the strong interpersonal relationship reduce the turnover rates by fostering the loyalty and commitment among the employees. Okay, if we are talking about the health and the well-being, psychological well-being and the physical health, harmonious work environment contribute to a better mental health outcome, include the reduce anxiety and improve the overall well-being. Okay, positive relationship and a supportive atmosphere can lower the stress related health issues and promote the healthier lifestyle. Okay, so we can say that creating and maintaining a harmony in the professional environment through the effective communication, respect, teamwork and inclusively not only enhance the productivity and the job satisfaction but also promote employee well-being and organizational success. Investing in strategies that foster the positive relationship and a supportive culture contribute to a cohesive and resilient workplace where individuals thrive and collectively achieve their shared goal. Okay, if you are talking about the role of human values in the ethical decision making, then the human values are the guiding principles. Okay, and it enhance the moral influence on the behavior. Okay, if we are talking about the guiding principles, human values are the fundamental beliefs that guide the individual behavior and the decision making process, reflecting what is deemed important or desirable in the life. Okay, ethical foundation, in that values such as honesty, integrity, fairness, respect for others and responsibility serve as ethical principles that influence how much individual perceive, analyze and respond to the ethical dilemma. Okay, decision framework, in that the human values provide a moral compasses for assessing right and wrong, helping individuals navigate the complex ethical dilemma and make the principled decision. In consistency and integrity, it uphold the values, ensure the consistency in the behavior and promote the integrity in the personal and the professional conduct. Okay, in influence of behavior, in that behavioral guidelines, value shape attitude, choice and actions, guiding the individual in ethical conduct and interactions with the other. Professional ethics, in that in professional settings, adherence to the value, support the ethical standard, promote trust among the stakeholder and contribute to the organizational integrity. Okay, So if we are talking about the ethical dilemma and how values influence the resolution, in that we are taking some example. First one is conflict of interest. In that we are taking a scenario where a manager faces a decision that could financially benefit a close friend or the family member at the expense of the organization. Okay, so here in this situation, if we are talking about the impact, value impact, then values like integrity and fairness guide the manager to prioritize organizational interest over the personal relationship, ensuring the impartially and ethically conduct. Okay, and if you are saying about the next example, whistleblowing, in that an employee discover unethical practices within the company. Okay, but uh, fear against reporting them. Okay, so values such as honesty and responsibility compel the employees to speak and out, or we can say that to speak out against the wrongdoing despite of their personal risk, to uphold the ethical standard and protect the stakeholder interest. In environmental and responsibility, in that there is a scenario, a corporation must decide between the cost effective practices that harm the environment and the sustainable alternate that are the more expensive. Okay, so value like environmental stewardship and the corporate social responsibility influence the decision to prioritize long-term sustainability and commitment to the ethical environmental practices. Okay, in that case, if you are talking about the privacy and data security, a tech company debate whether to share the user's data for profit or protect the customer privacy. If you are seeing the value impact here, the values such as the respect for privacy, trustworthiness, and the customer centric guide the company to prioritize the data protection, respecting the user right, and maintaining the ethical standard. Okay, in diversity and inclusion, a hiring manager, if you are talking about a scenario, in that a hiring manager must choose between the equally qualified candidate, one of whom enhance the diversity but lack experience traditionally valued by the company. In that, values like fairness, equity, inclusive influence the manager to prioritize the diversity as a value-added factor, enriching the organizational culture and promoting the equity. So, in each of these examples, the human values play a crucial role in the ethical decision making by providing a framework. Okay, a framework for evaluating the choices, considering the consequences, and acting in alignment with the ethical principle. By upholding values such as honesty, integrity, and fairness, responsibility, and respect, individuals and organizations can navigate ethical dilemma effectively and foster trust and contribute positively to the society and their stakeholder. Okay, so if we are talking about the cultural dimension of the harmony and the values, in a harmony, external Eastern culture, in many Eastern cultures such as China, Japan, the harmony emphasizes balance, collective well-being, and the social cohesion. It involves maintaining the harmonious relationship within the families, community, and society at large. Okay, these all are about the Eastern culture. If we are talking about the Western culture, Western perspective on harmony often focuses on the individual right, autonomy, freedom of expression. So harmony may be seen as achieving balance and fairness while respecting deserved viewpoint and the personal freedom. Okay, if we are talking about human values, then in that the cultural diversity. Different culture prioritize the various human values based on the historical, religion and the societal influence. Okay, in that respect of elders or communal solidarity, philosophy of or we can say that reflect culture's values. Okay, cultural values shaping the ethical framework and the decision making. Okay, if we are talking about the cross cultural perspective of the professional ethics, in that the ethical standards, diverse norms, cultural diversity influence the perception of ethical behavior norms and acceptable practices in the professional setting. Gift giving practices in businesses, which is common and acceptable in some cultures, considered bribery in others, hierarchical structures influencing the decision making, and communication styles varying based on the cultural context. Okay, if you are talking about the business practices, in that the ethical dilemma resolution strategies, in ethical dilemma, the cross-cultural interactions often present the ethical dilemma rooted in the different cultural norms, values and the expectations. Okay, if you are talking about the resolution strategies, professional navigating cross-cultural ethics prioritize the cultural sensitivity, respect for the diverse perspective and adaptability in the ethical decision making process. Okay, if we are talking about the challenges and opportunities, in that globalization, increased globalizations require the professionals to navigate the diverse cultural landscape, respecting the local custom while upholding the universal ethical principles. Okay, and if you are talking about the harmonizing the differences, organizations promoting the cross-cultural ethics, fostering inclusive environment, facilitate the intercultural dialogue and implement the ethical guidelines that accommodate the cultural diversity. So, understanding the cultural dimension of harmony and the value provide the insight into how diverse society define and apply the ethical principle in the professional context. By recognizing the cultural variations in different or in defining the harmony and prioritizing the human values, professional can navigate the cross-cultural ethics effectively, promote the mutual understanding and fostering the inclusive and ethical business practices globally. It also enhances the cultural diversity, organizational resilience, creativity and ethical integrity in a interconnected world. Okay, so next is how sustainable principles align with the holistic ethics. In that, first one is interconnectedness and the responsibility. Okay, holistic perspective. Sustainability aligns with the holistic ethic can recognize the interconnectedness of the environmental, social and the economic system. Okay, if we are talking about the responsibility, it emphasizes the responsibilities to consider long-term impact on the ecosystem, community and future generation when making decision. In long-term practices, the environmental stewardship, holistic ethics advocate for the environmental stewardship, promoting the practices that conserve the resources, reduce the waste and mitigate the environmental impact. In sustainable development, sustainability practices or principles support the idea of meeting present need without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own need, reflecting ethical considerations of fairness and equity across the chain. Okay, if we are talking about the system thinking, in that the complexity and the interdependence, holistic ethics encourage the system thinking where actions are evaluated in the context of broader ecological and the social system. Okay, if we are talking about the impact assessment, sustainability framework include the life cycle assessment and environmental impact the evaluation, ensuring the comprehensive consideration of all the stakeholders and the ecosystem affected by the decision. Okay. Yes, if you are talking about the corporate social responsibility and the business practices, in that integration of values. Corporate social responsibility integrate the ethical values into the business practices, ensuring the alignment with the societal expectations and the values. Okay, transparency and accountability, in that the ethical business practices promote the transparency in operation, disclosing the information about environmental and the social impact and holding accountable for commitment made by the or made to the stakeholders. Okay, in that corporate social responsibility initiatives involving engaging with the community to understand the need and concern, fostering the trust and collaborative partnership. Okay, and ethical practices, in ethical practices prioritize the employee well-being, fair labor practices and diversity and inclusion within the workplace, reflecting the respect for the human dignity and the right. Okay, if you are talking about the impact and reputation for long-term success, in that ethical behavior enhance corporate reputation and attracting the social conscious consumer and investor and employees who align with the company's value. Risk mitigation, in that corporate social responsibility mitigate the risk associated with the environmental, social and the governance factor, ensuring the resilience and the sustainable growth in the competitive global market. So, the alignment of sustainability principles with the holistic ethics underscore the importance of responsible decision making that consider environmental, social and the economic impact. By integrating the ethical values into corporate social responsibility practices, organization can uphold integrity, foster stakeholder trust and contribute positively to the sustainable and the development goal. And holistic ethics in business not only enhance the organization resilience but also promote the social well-being and the environmental stewardship in the global context. Okay, if you are talking about the leadership, leadership is a multi-phase concept that play a crucial role in guiding the individual, team and the organization toward achieving the common goal. Okay, there are various type of leadership style, each characterized by the different approaches and traits that influence the organizational dynamic and the outcome. Okay, so if you are talking about the leadership or type of leadership, then first one is the transformational leadership. In transformational leadership, the transformational leader inspire and motivate the followers by emphasis on the vision, innovation, and the long-term goal. They encourage the creativity, foster a positive organizational culture, and empower the individual to contribute to the organizational success. Okay, in that case, a leader like Elon Musk or the Alpha um, transformation leadership by their ambitious goal and inspiring their team to innovate and achieve. Okay, next one is transactional leadership. In that transactional leader focuses on the exchanging reward and the punishment based on the performance. They emphasize on the clear structure, rule and expectation, offering the incentive for achieving predetermined goal and maintaining the efficiency. Okay, many corporate executive and managers use the transactional leadership to ensure the accountability and performance within their team through the reward and the recognizing system. Okay, and in servant leadership style, servant leader prioritize serving the need of other before their own. They exhibit empathy, humanity, and a commitment to empowering and development their followers. Servant leaders aim to foster a supportive environment where individuals can thrive and achieve a personal and the organizational goal. In that case, we can take the example of Mahatma Gandhi and the Nelson Mandela are the renowned for their servant leadership qualities, dedicating themselves to serving their community and inspiring the social change. Next one is the charismatic leadership style. In that, the charismatic leader possesses the strong personality and perceive the communication skill. They inspire the loyalty and commitment among the follower through their vision and ability to articulate compelling narratives. In that, if you are talking about the example of these kind of leadership style, then the Steve Jobs, okay, Martin Luther are the example of this charismatic leadership by mobilizing the people around their driving transformative change. Okay, and next one is democratic leadership. In that democratic leadership, it involves the team members in the decision making process and valuing their input and fostering the collaborative environment. They encourage the participation and transparency in the organization governance. In that, the CEOs who prioritize the inclusive decision making and seek input from their team are the example of the democratic leadership, enhancing the engagement and commitment among the employees. And the last one is the laissez-faire leadership. In that leadership, the leader adopt a hands-off approach, delegating the authority and responsibility to the team member, and they provide the autonomy and freedom to make decisions, trusting the individual to manage their tasks independently. Okay, so if we are talking about the characteristic of the effective leader, in that it should be visionary, communicative, adaptive, integrity, empathic, decisive and inspirational. In that, visionary, effective leaders articulate a clear vision and inspire others to work toward achieving the common goal. They possessed a strong communication skills to convey the ideas, provide the feedback and foster the open dialogue within the team. In that, adaptive, effective leader adapt to change and challenges or flexibility and the resilience in the navigating uncertainty. In integrity, they uphold the ethical standard and earn trust through the consistent action and the transparency. In empathic, leaders understand and consider the perspective and feeling of others, fostering the empathy and creating a supportive working environment. Okay, and in decision, they make informed decision promptly and balancing the careful analysis with the timely action to drive progress and achieve the objective. Okay, a effective leadership should be inspirational. Effective leader motivate and empower the other, cultivating a sense of purpose and commitment among the team member. So a leadership style may vary depending on the organization culture, industry dynamic and the individual preference. Successful leaders often combine the element of the different leadership style and adapt to the diverse situation and the inspire the positive outcome within their organization. Okay. So ethical leadership. Ethical leader, in that if you are talking about the characteristics of the ethical leader in fostering the harmony and upholding the human values. The first one is integrity and the honesty. Ethical leader prioritize the honesty and integrity, earning the trust of their team member and stakeholder. They uphold the moral principle and set an example of the ethical behavior through their action and the decision. Okay, if you are talking about the fostering trust, by consistently demonstrating the ethical conduct, ethical leaders create a culture of trust and transparency within the organization, encouraging the open communication and the collaboration. Okay, respect for others, in that valuing the diversity. Ethical leadership or ethical leader respect and appreciate the diversity, fostering the inclusive and a sense of belonging among the team member. They recognize the unique perspective and contribution of the individual, promoting the fairness and equality in the organizational practices. Okay, in empathy and compassion, in that the ethical leader demonstrate the empathy towards the other feeling and perspective, making decisions that consider the well-being and the interest of all the stakeholders. In accountability and responsibility, an ethical leader should take responsibility for their action and the decision, accepting the accountability for the outcome, whether positive or the negative. They encourage a culture of the accountability throughout the organization, ensuring a transparency and fairness in the process. Okay, stewardship, in that the ethical leader take responsibility for their action and the decision, accepting the accountability for the outcome, whether positive or the negative. They encourage a culture of accountability throughout the organization, ensuring the transparency and the fairness in the process. Okay, if you are talking about the stewardship, ethical leader act as a stewardship of resources and opportunity, managing them responsibly for the benefit of the current and the future stakeholder. They prioritize the sustainable practices and long-term value, creation over a short-term gain. Okay, in fairness and justice, promoting the fairness. Ethical leader promote fairness and justice in decision making, ensuring the equitable treatment for all the individuals based on the merit and principle of the fairness, and they address conflict and issues impartially, fostering a sense of justice within the organization. Okay, in ethical standards, they establish and uphold the ethical standard and the policies. They guide organizational behavior and practices aligned with the align with them with the societal norm and the expectations. Okay, so if you're talking about the impact on the organizational culture and the performance, in that, in cultural of integrity, ethical leadership set a positive tone at the top, influencing the organizational culture by prioritizing the ethical value and the behavior. They foster a culture where ethical considerations are embedded in the daily operations and the decision-making process. Okay, in employee engagement, a culture of integrity enhances the employee engagement and the commitment, as employees feel valued and respected, leading to the higher job satisfaction and retention rate. Okay, in enhanced reputation, the external perception. Ethical leadership enhance the organizational reputation among the stakeholder, including the customer, investor, and the broader community. It builds the trust or the credibility, attaching or attracting the social responsibility pattern and customer who align with the organizational values. Okay, and if we are talking about the risk management, organization led by the ethical leaders mitigate the reputational risk associated with the unethical practices, safeguarding against the legal and the regulatory challenges that could impact on the long-term sustainability and the success. Okay, if we are talking about performance and innovation motivated workforce, ethical leadership motivate the employees to perform at their best, fostering a positive working environment when innovation and the creativity thrive. Okay, employees are more likely to contribute ideas and solutions when they feel supported by ethically or by the ethical leadership. Long-term success, in that the ethical leaders prioritize the sustainable growth and the long-term success over the short-term gain, making strategic decisions and that benefit the organizational stakeholder and the broader society. So we can say that the ethical leadership is characterized by integrity, respect for others, accountability, and the fairness. It not only fosters harmony and uphold the human value within the organization, but also cultivate a positive organizational culture that enhances the performance, innovation, and long-term success. By prioritizing the ethical principle and behavior, leaders contribute to the sustainable and responsible business environment, which is benefiting both the internal stakeholder and the external community. Okay, so next is education and training in ethics. Importance of ethics. Education in nurturing the holistic understanding. In that, the foundational value. Ethics education provide a foundation or foundational understanding of the moral principles, values and the ethical framework that guide decision making across the personal and the professional context. Okay, holistic perspective in that by integrating the ethical teaching into curricula, educations foster a holistic understanding by consider the interconnectedness of the society, environmental and economic factors in the decision making process. In critical thinking and reflection, analytic thinking, ethics educations cultivate the critical thinking skills, enable the individual to assess the complex ethical dilemma from multiple perspectives and evaluate the consequence of their action. Okay, in reflective practices, it encourages the self-reflection and introspection, helping the individual align with their personal goal and personal values with the ethical principles and applying them consistently in the diverse situation. Okay, if we are talking about the cultural sensitivity and diversity, in that ethics education promote the cultural sensitivity and awareness of the diverse ethical norms and the practices worldwide, preparing individual to navigate cross-cultural interactions and ethical challenges. Okay, by focusing on the ethics, okay, respect for cultural diversity and the human rights, education nurture inclusively attitude and behavior that contribute to the harmonious and the equitable society. So next one is the training program for the professionals to enhance the ethical decision making. In that ethical framework and guidelines, understanding the standards, professional training programs familiarize the participant with the ethical framework, code of conduct and the regulatory guideline relevant to their industries or their profession. Okay, in application skills, they equip professionals with the practical skills to analyze the ethical dilemma, apply the ethical principle in decision making and navigate the legal and the ethical complexities effectively. Okay, and case study and simulations in that training programs often use case studies and simulations on the real world scenario to stimulate ethical dilemma and encourage the participant to practice the ethical decision making skills in the safe learning environment. Okay, learning from experience in that analyzing the historical and the contemporary ethical challenges help the professional learn from the past mistake and adopt the proactive strategies to prevent the ethical landscape. Okay, and communication and collaboration in that effective ethical decision making training focuses on the communication skills, encouraging the professional to engage with stakeholders, seek the diverse perspective and collaborating on the ethical resolution or ethical solution. Okay, it equips participants who conflict resolutions and techniques and negotiation skills to address the ethical conflict and maintain the positive relationship with the team and with the external partner. And if we are talking about the continuous learning and the adaptation, ethical decision making training is an ongoing process that support continuous learning and adaptation of evolving the ethical standard, industries practices and the societal expectations. In organizational integration, Organizations that prioritize the ethical training, fostering a culture of ethics and compliance, promoting the accountability, integrity, and responsible conduct throughout their workplace. So we can say that the ethics education and training programs play a vital role in nurturing the holistic understanding, enhancing the ethical decision making skills, and promoting the ethical behavior across the professional domain. Okay, by integrating ethics into education curricula and offering target training programs, individuals and the organization can uphold the ethical standards, contribute to sustainable development, and foster a harmonious society grounded in a shared value and the principles. Okay, if you are talking about the challenges are obstacle organizing faces in adopting a holistic ethical framework. In that, the first one is the complexity and the integration. In that, the holistic ethics require organizations to consider multiple dimensions: environmental, social, economic, and their interconnection when making the decision. And resource intensity, in that implementing holistic ethical framework demand the substantial resources including the time, expertise, and the financial investment, which can pose challenges to the for the smaller or resource constrained organization. Okay, prioritization and the alignment, in that organization may struggle to prioritize the ethical consideration and completing the uh, business objective, financial pressure, and the operation demand. Okay, and alignment with strategies, in that aligning the holistic ethics with the organization's strategies and goal require clear leadership, commitment, and integration into core business practices, which can challenging to the achieve or challenging to achieve the consistency. Okay, cultural and the structural barrier, in that the organizational culture, existing organizational culture that prioritize short-term gain or lack of strong commitment to the ethical value may hinder the adoption of the holistic ethics. In that, resistance to change, resistance to stakeholders who perceive the ethical initiative as disturbing established practices or challenging the existing power dynamic can implement or impede the progress. Okay. So the next one is resistance to change and overcoming the cultural barrier. In that, the first one is leadership commitment and the role modeling. Leadership play a crucial role in campaigning the holistic ethics and communicating its importance to all the levels of the organization. So leaders can align the ethical goal with the organization values and strategic the priorities or priorities, which focuses on the long-term benefit of the ethical practices for the sustainability and the reputation. In education and awareness, building understanding, educating the stakeholders about the benefit of the holistic ethics, including the improved stakeholder trust, enhance the reputation, and reduce the risks, fostered by in the support for the ethical initiative. Training and development, in that providing the training of the ethical decision making and integrating ethical consideration into professional development program helps the employee navigate the ethical dilemma effectively. Okay. Stakeholder engagement and collaboration, in that engaging the stakeholder across the department, including the employee, customer, supplier, and the community member, encourage the diverse perspective and the promote collective ownership of the ethical goal. Okay, collaborative solution, in that encourage the collaboration among different stakeholders to co-create ethical solutions and policy, enhance the acceptance and implementation of the holistic ethical framework. Okay, and continuous evaluation and adaptation, in that establish feedback loops and evaluation process to the process or monitor the effectiveness of the ethical initiative and adapt the strategies as needed to ensure the continuous improvement and alignment with evolving the ethical standards. Okay, remaining flexible and aligned in the responding to the external change, regulatory development, and stakeholder expectations help organization to maintain and resilience in their ethical practices. So, while implementing the holistic ethics, present challenges related to the complexity, cultural barrier, resistance to change, organization can come over these obstacles through the strong leadership commitment, education, stakeholder engagement, and a strategic approach to integration and adaptation. By embedding the holistic ethics into their organizational DNA, business can change, or businesses can enhance the sustainability, foster the trust, and create the long-term value for all the stakeholders. So this is for today. Thank you.